Will the city of New York simply stand on by as Spider-Man, one of their greatest heroes, takes the beating of his life? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8 and find out together, shall we? So then, in the last issue, Spider-Man was getting his bell royally rung by a brand new mysterious otherworldly villain by the name of Hellgate, whose actual motivations continue to be vague and ill-defined. And as we open up on this brand new issue, Spider-Man is still getting beaten to death by this World of Warcraft reject, who continues to call him the Prince of Silksteel, as we, the reader, don't exactly learn much new. So yeah, same as it ever was, same as it ever was. Now, something I've certainly said on the channel before, but something that bears repeating, I actually do like John Romita Jr.'s artwork. Is it as good as it used to be? Debatable, but the man has always had a talent for drawing brutal, bloody, dirty fights to the death, and that's basically what the entirety of this issue is. Spider-Man gets knocked around, breaks his ribs, and at one point even starts coughing up blood into the mask itself, which I thought was a nice touch. The big problem with doing this sort of John Romita style fight scene is that they normally work best when the two combatants actually have, a reason to fight each other, a shared history, and the kind of palpable animosity that makes you want to see them tear strips out of each other. Here, Spider-Man and Hellgate just met. There's really nothing to pull upon. It just kind of feels like two action figures smashing into each other, only, I'm not having any fun because I'm not the one doing the smashing. If nothing else, we do get treated to another flashback, which was obviously a major focal point of the last arc. It seems that Hellgate hit Spider-Man so hard he actually knocked some memories loose. It seems as a bullied kid, Peter wanted to learn karate, but it was his ever-loving Uncle Ben, who decided he would be better suited to learning some boxing fundamentals first, even if it means Peter got popped a couple times. Honestly, kind of feels like Uncle Ben is onto something in this flashback. If martial arts are so powerful, why is some old Mr. Miyagi guy not the UFC champion of the world right now? Something to think on. And you probably will be thinking on it too, because there's very little else going on in the issue. Spider-Man tries his hardest to cut down on collateral damage and save the lives of New York pedestrians who are just slowly but surely starting their day. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but a Hellgate finds Spider-Man's dedication to preserving life in all of its forms truly disgusting.
Can you not see you offend my warrior honor? No, I will not go into any more detail about my ethos. Do you not know how long that will distract from the punching?
Eventually, Spider-Man does clue into the idea of maybe using something that Uncle Ben taught him back in the day, mainly that there are times to fight and there are times to run and use your brain. It would seem that while Hellgate can dish out the insults, he can't actually take them, and the second Spider-Man starts calling him a coward, he forgets about hurting civilians and refocuses on trying to crush the wall crawler like the bug he is. At this point, Spider-Man isn't even trying to fight anymore, he's just trying to lead this guy away from the more heavily populated areas. For all of his trouble, poor Spider-Man ends up finding himself getting absolutely thrashed through a building. It's there he realizes he's not alone. Remember that moped kid from the previous issue? Well, I assume kid, judging by the drawing, but they could very well be an adult. This is Captain Kintsugi, a brand new character who vows to save Spider-Man's life. Kintsugi, I get it, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending areas of breakage with lacquer or dusted gold and silver. See, kids, Kintsugi's armor isn't broken, he's making an artistic statement. I don't know what kind of artistic statement, but you better believe they're making it. Now, despite the Captain here showing up with all this bluster and getting an introduction in the previous issue, Spider-Man ultimately ends up having to save them as well. Well, thanks for coming out, Captain. You've certainly endeared yourself to me in this debut. Good thing there's no such thing as a second chance at a first impression. Believe it or not, it's after that the book ends up transitioning on over to something completely different. You see, we actually check on in with Mary Jane and Paul. Oh my god, do I have to actually explain what's going on in the Venom book right now? Fuck me, I do. I genuinely thought none of this would ever end up circling back to the main Spider-Man book. Long story short, Mary Jane is the new Mystery Venom, everybody. Which technically means her, Paul, and the symbiote are in some kind of throuple, and also they've adopted Dylan Brock, Eddie's wayward son. Credit where credit is due, this actually ends up probably being my favorite scene in the entire issue. Paul tries to make Dylan a healthy breakfast, and he essentially just tells him to go to hell. Wow, Dylan hates him almost as much as the fan base does. Maybe I am missing something by not picking up that brand new Venom book. A news alert goes off on MJ's phone, revealing that Spider-Man is fighting it out with Hellgate downtown, and that it's not going so good for Spidey. Poor Peter is trapped under a bunch of wreckage right now, and Hellgate is moving on in for the kill. It's only right here at at the very end, do we learn even the slightest thing about Hellgate? Apparently he really was telling the truth before, and he hasn't come here to fight Spider-Man. Quite the opposite. Someone named Nicodemo had told him that Spider-Man would allow him to reach a higher level of power. But again, proud warrior code guy that he is, he absolutely hates the idea of needing anyone else to get stronger, so he figures if he just kills Spider-Man in armed combat, it'll prove he doesn't need anyone. And as the comic comes to a close, it looks like Hellgate ends up delivering his final, quite possibly fatal blow. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8, everyone. Another perfectly serviceable, if utterly forgettable, little issue. The thing that completely blows me away is just how similar issue 8 is to issue 7, like this could have been one story and we wouldn't have missed a single thing. Hellgate continues to do very little to win me over as a brand new antagonist. I know they're trying to make him a little bit deeper and a little bit more complex as he has motivations outside beating up Spider-Man. It's just that they manifest as beating up Spider-Man. Now, it's not like there's nothing in here I enjoyed. Again, much like in the previous issue, the weird little asides featuring characters who aren't Peter I actually thought were really well crafted and put together. Say what you will, but Kelly has proven time and time again he actually has a really good handle on Peter's supporting cast of characters. Here's hoping we actually get more of them and this book continues to play to its strength as time goes on. Because as it stands right now, my biggest complaint is just how thin this newest arc has been so far. No meat on the bone, nothing really to grab onto, and that's a shame. Overall, I would give this one another 6 out of 10. Pretty fairly decent enough. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.